patterns depending on the data, and cloud makes it definitely possible. So that's one thing I wanted to discuss, and also tell about
24 hours ಬೇಕಾದ ಸರ್ ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ ಈಗ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
ಅದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್
how much of data we should get in?
ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮವೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ
ಓಕೆ
ಅವರಿಗೆ petabytes is actually a small
ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್
number.
ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
So we're going
ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್
to
ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್
thousands of petabytes of data
ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್
being
ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ
generated every day.
ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್
Imagine how
ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್
it has to be stored,
ಇದು
how it has to be processed.
OBS ಅಂತ
Right? Where are you going to get all this infrastructure? Google has announced a big infrastructure. It's coming up in Vizag. It's a big data center. It's going to hold a lot of
PPT
data for us in
ಬಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ
India. Right? Apart from that,
ಕ್ಯಾನು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ
Anil sir has already spoken a lot about AI. We still are in the beginning phases of that. There's still a lot to run. But then, what I've also seen is that
again
the way it is being used, I feel that it's still not making the best
doesn't
use
have
of it.
anything, right?
We are making computers more intelligent, and we have lost creativity. That's how things are being looked at today. If you have ended up in a situation where you are asking a AI tool, what I have to be doing today, then we are in that situation. You should always look at AI tools as your assistants. You should not be looking at them for telling what you should be doing. And I'm sure Anand sir has quoted a lot of examples around this as well, and including that case of a suicide where it was just a prompt, and that led to a disaster. The point I'm trying to make is that if you are trying to make your careers today, think of how you can leverage AI. Think of how you can make the best out of AI. And one tip that I have from my side, of course, learn every day for sure. One tip that I have from my side is that whatever field you choose, get into the depth of it, and then see how you can leverage AI so that it can amplify or it can make your work far easier. Ultimately, you should know what you're doing, and then you're going to use AI to help you. If you're into a situation where you're asking AI what to do, then that's not the right place to be. All right. So I hope you're able to get this right. So if you're using AI in the wrong way, then you are actually going to end up in a wrong path. All right. And a lot of ethics is still not there. A lot of governance is not there in AI. It's still at the very beginning phases. And if you're starting up your careers in QA, there's a lot of scope there just to ensure that the right person gets to use and see the right data. Always remember that any additional data that's given, any additional data that's provided. See, whenever you're driving and if you're using Google Maps, what you see is that where you are right now and where you are supposed to be going. But if Google bombards you with a lot of information about nearby and you're driving, it's like too much information being bombarded on you. You feel lost. And if Google doesn't tell you where you are in the Google Maps, then it's again a problem, right? So it has to be adequate. It should not be more, it should not be less. Accordingly, everybody who accesses systems today, they should be able to ensure that they have got the right data. And from a QA perspective, what you should be looking at is, before it actually reaches the user, how do you ensure that they have the right privilege or they are seeing the right version of it? So those are aspects which are critical. Folks, no jobs are going away. They're just going to make life easier. Believe in it. And of course, we have to change. And I saw slides where there were statements from Satya Nadella and all those who are clearly saying that AI is definitely going to make a disruption, but that's not going to take away your jobs. It's going to manage, it's going to take away all the repetitive supposed to make you more creative. Look at the creativity aspect, look at the can make the best use of these tools rather than getting stuck with asking what to do. I think that's all I wanted to say today. And I wish you all the best and thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. You made cloud and AI feel simple, smart, and super inspiring. Our next speaker believes innovation starts with how we think. The founder and CEO of Exceed Beyond, he has led innovation and digital transformation at companies like Wipro, Sterlite Technologies, and Amdocs. Let's welcome Mr. Anup Kiran speaking on innovation mindset, how to think big and build bigger.
Sound check. Audible.
ಆ ಕಡೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿರುಗಿಸಿ.
Am I audible now? Better?
ಆ ಕಡೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಂತೆ. ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್.
Good? Okay, good afternoon everyone. How does it feel so far with the session? All good? Yes, good or great? Going great? Okay. What about the next session? Out of box thinking? Yes. What else?
Creativity.
Creative?
Creativity.
Creativity, absolutely. What else? Makeup for the time till the projector comes. So tell me. Okay. There are many things which comes to mind when you say innovative thinking, right? So what is all that? So I heard out of box thinking, I heard creativity. What else? Okay, what I am doing now, okay. Very basic, right? Yes. What else? Somebody said technology, yes. What beyond technology? If you just connect with the last two speakers spoke about, what comes after technology? Yes. Absolutely. Let's give her a big round of applause. It's about out-of-box thinking. It's about creativity. It's technology. But above all, it is about solving a problem. And in solving a problem, what is all the more important is how do you identify what problem to solve. Right? And to identify what problem to solve, the biggest piece is, are you solving a small problem or are you solving a big problem? Right? If you're solving a small problem, what happens is, you will solve it and then you have a solution and then you're looking after who's going to take that solution. Right? You may have made a product. It's a product which is solving small problems, and now you're trying to see who's going to fund, who's going to pay for this. That is what is the largest issue that happens in the world. So many startups come, so many products come, so many solutions come. They fail because they're probably not solving a large problem. Right? They probably have not thought through as to what needs to be done. And to get to that, it is my pride and privilege to share with you as to how to think big and to act bigger. Right? Does that sound exciting? Yes? So let's go on to this. Somebody just get the focus? Yes.
Yes, you can. Try now.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. After spending almost about 2 decades in the industry, we formed a company. This is a quick note about Exceed Beyond. I'm the founder and CEO of Exceed Beyond, and what we do at Exceed Beyond is exactly the context that we just heard, which is about how do you solve a problem? How do you get to the next level? How many of you are already working? Working? Okay. How many of you are happy with the increments that you get? One person is happy, 2. Okay. Here? Okay, how many of you are unhappy with the increments? Can I see raise of hands? Everyone? Can I see everybody's raise of hands? Those who are unhappy? Okay.
They are happy also, not happy also.
So to get to a point where, so typically the salary increments, or when we say improvements, we do.
Live outside.
Right? The improvements are 5%, 10%, 12%, 15%, 20%, we become very happy. But if we have to go to solving things from a large perspective, from an innovation perspective, right? As much as to get to the right shape and size which Karthik is trying to get here. You need to get to that S-curve. The S-curve growth ensures that you have a picture perfect growth trajectory to your career, to your investments, to your startups, to your solutions, to your company. If you want to get to that, there are various perspectives with which Exceed Beyond functions, which is right from looking at it from the strategy point of view, to design, to execution, to creating that end impact. And in doing so, we look at it from multiple trajectories, whether it is process efficiency, it is about new products, it is about getting new customers, or above all, the last aspect, which is the change acceleration. You could be an individual, you could be a student who's studying, you could be a professional who's working, you could be a startup, you could be a large organization. One thing which remains constant is the need for change. And the change acceleration is something which is embedded deeply into Exceed Beyond, and that is what we drive here. We drive this through one single aspect, which is changing the mindset. That is the first step that we need to do, and that's the sole reason why we are also here. And how we've been doing, a quick glimpse into, we do this across multiple industries. You could be working in telecom, you could be working in IT, you could be working in healthcare. It doesn't matter which field you are in. You could be in education, you could be into a normal kirana store selling groceries, right? Even there, these things can be applied, and we have done this successfully across all these platforms, and today I'm going to share the secret sauce with you. Now, where does this come from, right? I've been into the industry for 20 years, worked across multiple organizations, the Wipros of the world, the Tatas of the world, the Deutsche Telecoms of the world, Amdocs, and many other organizations. I even have the privilege where people said the world goes from manufacturing to technology. I was the nerd who went from technology to manufacturing. When I went and spoke about innovation, they said, Anup, you are mad, these things don't work here, right? But we actually went and changed the transformation. We brought about that transformation with people with whom I didn't know how to communicate. They spoke vernacular language. I went to China, spoke in English, they understood in Mandarin. I went to Italy, spoke in English, they understood in Italian. But like they say, love has no language, innovation has no language, right? So we worked through this, and having done this for 20 years, created value beyond $500 million for organizations, for individuals. We've done this at the academics, we've done this at startups, we've done this for individuals. And all of these learnings that is being imparted to my audience is coming from what I have learned from Cambridge, from Harvard, from Indian universities, and above all, the 20 years of experiences where my bosses said no, and I went and did it, right? And which is where these solutions started emerging. And while I'm saying all of these things, I keep repeating this story at every session. But there is a classic case. Today is a very, very unique scenario in which the audience which is here, right? One of the audience here was listening to a session like this. And that individual one day came up to me and spoke. I listened, asked few questions, I answered, and then he went back. He continued to follow me on my programs, participate in these programs, and actually he was in the QA testing zone, in the software assurance piece, quality assurance piece, and slowly he started acting very, very passively into supporting, being responsive to many of the communications we sent, and then he started actively participating into it. One fine day he actually wanted to join my team. And eventually it so happened that I was moving out, and that individual joined my team and started practicing the innovation methodologies, the programs that we did. And over a period of time, it so happened that after I left, that person actually led the innovation function in that large organization. It was a 3 or 4 billion revenue organization, multinational corporation. He led innovation in that space. It so happened that, the kida of starting Exceed Beyond was always there in my mind. One fine day, I chose to say no to corporate. I said, if I'm doing this for one organization, I can do this for multiple organizations. So I stepped out of the corporate, and you know what? That gentleman who was once sitting in a forum like this, with a smile, with the twinkling eyes, as to what Anup is saying, I don't understand, but I am passionate, I'm interested. That person came out and joined Exceed Beyond, and today with me, it is Akshay Chilal, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Exceed Beyond. It's a real, I keep talking about many of these things. This is a real case study where whatever we are talking, we walk the talk, and I have the person who is partnering with me into this. So Akshay, thank you very much for joining. A quick word from your side.
Yeah, so firstly, thanks Karthik and the entire team for inviting. I still remember, it feels like a nostalgic moment. You all sitting here. So I remember back in 2012 after I graduated from my college in Hubli. So not sure what should be my career path. I came to Bangalore. 3 months I stayed here, I explored, and that was the time I discovered that there is an institute for software testing. I didn't know more about programming, neither I had more interest towards it, so I was not really sure what it should be. But somebody recommended, why not you go and explore the Q Spider Software Testing Institute. I went to one of the sessions here in Bangalore and I saw 600 plus students. I literally went mad. Oh my God, I can't sit here. I don't even know whether I'm going to fit in this huge crowd or am I able to really make a mark. And then somehow I also saw that Pune branch is something new. They started and I decided why not go to a new city and explore, because I also had some of my family members staying in Pune and being born and brought up in Hubli, I also know Marathi, so language was never a constraint. So I said, okay, let's go. And that was the time when I met Karthik. That was almost in August 2012 or September. The moment I spoke with him and also the teachers out there, it was like almost a small batch of 12 to 15 students. I immediately enrolled. That was a 3-month course in the manual software testing, the QA, understanding how exactly you can make the software better. If you are not able to create the software, don't worry, but at least you can make the software better. That was the kind of the teaching I got to learn. There were different opportunities which I got to know. I tried for various jobs, etc. Things were not working out, definitely, because while I'm today standing here in front of you to talk, the case was not so easy that time. I was good in talking one-to-one, but definitely when you invite somebody on the stage to get butterflies in his stomach, that was the kind of scenario. Prepare for those interviews, it was like really a more anxious activity. I used to hate in participating in those interviews. I was like, okay, just get me a job, that's it. I'm ready to work, but I just want to clear this interview piece. So almost it was like 8 to 10 different mock interviews, different kind of experiences which kind of helped me to overcome those challenges and overcome those fears. And I landed up getting a job at big organization called as Amdocs in Pune. But that was a contract role. It was not a permanent role either. But I said, it's fine. Your work matters. What you are going to do matters. And if you are able to do it with dedication. These were the words which I got to learn from Karthik and the teachers who trained me in the software testing. Don't fear. Just go and give it a try. Your work will show. Your dedication will show the results. And after 1.5 years, then I joined as a permanent employee there. For the 5.5 years, I was into the software testing, work for clients AT&T and T-Mobile, into the telecom front end as well as the back end. I was able to learn what a customer, management system is, what is an order management system is, what a billing system is. How does today a postpaid or a prepaid subscriber, today you are able to get the SIM easily, but what goes in the back end when a telecom customer joins it? How is that entire workflow? So there were so many new things as a QA, as a software tester, which you can actually learn those scenarios. You are the best person to understand the business requirement. And once you kind of get that software, because you will be the first person to understand from the client, understand from the development, understand from all the things. So this was my journey. After navigating in that first 5.5 years, then as Anu just mentioned how I made a role switch and joined the innovation team. It was part of the corporate management, and today I decided to partner with him to start this one. So this is my journey. Thank you so much, Karthik.
So from a person who used to get butterflies in his stomach when asked to come on a stage, to a person who does not leave the stage once you're called upon, right? That is the transformation in Akshay. And it has kind of changed not just my career, my personal professional career, but his personal professional career too. And it did not change by 1 to 10% or to 20%. We started growing in leaps and bounds, right? 10x, 20x, 100x. That's the kind of growth opportunity that we ourselves are experiencing, right? And today I thought that kind of growth opportunity, how did that happen? Are you all ready for that? Yes? Let's get into this. So the first thing is for you to understand that every such big stuff that has happened, It is started with one small step, right? It starts with one small step. Now that small step often is not very easy. It is not very easy. Because when I quit my job as a global head of innovation in a large organization, besides everybody else who said, Anup, you are mad. You are leaving a dream salary job and you're going in after doing something for which you don't know whether it's going to have work or not. But I believed in it, Akshay believed in it, and with us, many of our customers who are working with us, they believed in it. And it all started with that one small step which helps us to take that leap forward. Now the examples are many, right? It's not just ours. It's about identifying what is happening and where it is happening. For example, everybody here has a phone in your hand? Yes? You see the transformation in the phone? This phone versus this phone that happened? Yes? What was that? What changed from this phone to this? Sorry? The keypad went away. Okay, that is one aspect. What else?
Screen got big.
Sorry?
Screen size increased. Screen size increased.
Screen size increased. Okay. What else?
Camera introduced.
Technology, camera, all of those things, right? This is what they are actually telling you and making you pay for. But what is it that they are actually doing? They are actually sending connection to people. This is the picture that typically happens in your cafeteria or when you're meeting along 4 or 5 friends. Initial 10 minutes you have a chit chat and after that you are on your devices. People sit together but they are in a world virtually connected but beyond the horizon of that very room you are connected to larger audience too. So this is the behavior which they are selling. So it again, it's a small step to take away some features around it, but to embed something completely different. That is the
Connected
concept
to iPhone.
which they are selling. Right? So that's about what was done in phone and other things. Let's talk about something more closer to what happened in Bharat. Anybody heard of Tata Motors? Nano. What was the price of Nano? 1 lakh. Everybody remembers that. What happened? They were nicely running those Indica and Indigos, right? And then they launched Nano. And then what happened later?
The degradation.
Sorry?
The degradation of the value.
Degradation of the value. Okay. What else? Sorry? Sorry, I can't hear you. Correct, absolutely. What else? They wanted to create a car for everyone. Right? It was a big vision, big step with a small experiment on getting the car, small car for everyone. Look at Tata Motors offerings today. Today they have got this range of cars for everyone. You will fall short of remembering the models that they have, but they are introducing one after the other, multiple cars, and all of these are beating the competition left, right, and center. They're also coming up with the EV cars, right? So again, what are they doing? They're looking at solving the connectivity issues. They're not creating the car. The problem is about mobilization. Mobilization for students, mobilization for professionals, mobilization for family, mobilization people who want to do off-roading, right? They are connecting all of these aspects and solving that. Again, it's a big shift in the mindset that goes into building a phone or building a car versus connecting people, mobilizing people, right? Do you understand the difference between what it is? So on that note, let's today look at how do we act like that? How do we start to think big and act on it? Are you all ready with me? Yes? So how do we do this, right? And why do we do this? Most importantly, when Anand spoke about when he joined organization and some of the other leaders here, we had good time to stay in the corporates, right? People used to stay in corporates for 30 years. Yesterday I was at Kirloskar. I heard people, one individual was there for 35 years. So probably joined as a GET, graduate engineering trainee. And then for 35 years that person was in that organization, or rather is still in the organization. Come to some of the newish organizations, right? Something in 2000s, around the range when I joined in, right? The average lifespan of an employee is about 20 years, or rather was about 20 years. What is happening today? It is shrinking. It is shrinking by years. You spend about, it says 14 years, but come 2030, you spend about 5 years or 10 years, you will be done. The career is done with. You got to figure out what you need to do next. And what do you do next is also coupled with what does the organization need. If you are able to connect, like what Akshay said, are you doing coding or are you solving business problem? If you're solving business problem, you are a leader in the organization. But if you're just doing coding, testing the codes and things like that, then you are an obsolete person. So while you're doing it is a means to do something larger. Start to think beyond the horizon, because organizations are facing this challenge. We spoke about AI, we spoke about technology. They are disrupting or they are getting disrupted. So if you are in the zone who is getting disrupted, you will be out of the job. But if you are the person who is solving the challenges which others haven't done, then you are in that game driving that growth, the S-curve growth, not the linear growth, but the S-curve growth for the organization, right? So how do we do this? The obvious question is, how do I do this, right? So this is a 10-point agenda. For the paucity of time, I will not get deeper into it. You can collect this presentation from the team. And what we will do is look at what aspects connect with you, each one of you. One person said problem first orientation. Do you all agree we need to solve problems? Yes? But above all, what we need to do is look at it not just as a deliverable. Many a time we are given a task, we go back and tell our superiors, our managers, yeah, you gave me a task, I've completed the task. But that is not what is expected. What is expected is we need to get to the customer outcomes. Everything that you do, are you able to connect yourself? Are you able to visualize yourself with the customer outcomes? And in doing so, how do you apply the design first principles? Right? Everything that is built, there is a rationale to it. It is not just by chance it has come. Somebody has designed through the logic, somebody has designed through, looked through the designs of it, somebody has identified there is a need or there is a potential need. So you need to understand what are those design principles, and then above all, do not wait for someone to come and tell you, you need to do this. You got to find your actions, experiment it, and the experiments, even if it fails, it doesn't matter. People say, if they ask you to go this way, try going this way. You could go wrong once, you could go wrong twice, but the third time you will figure out something better. You will be doing something which you're doing first time in the world. You'll also be doing certain things which will be like the best in class in the world. So those are the design principles that you need to do. And then of course we need to get into iterating this time and again. First time you do it, it will not be best. Second time it will get better. Third time, you will be the leading person. By fourth and fifth and sixth and 10th time, you will be the best person doing that. So to the person who is doing the best of these things, to the person who is doing it for the first time, to the person who is solving it for the customer, there is no way that the world is not chasing you. Because then you start to bring in that breakthroughs in the world wherein the adaptability the innovation, the new in the world starts coming out there. And that is, my friends, the innovative mindset that we all need to bring through. So this is like a one-stop solution that we need to do. And above all, there's one last point. I think we spoke about pivoting earlier also. The one point that is needed is willingness to continue. We have to continue. We have to take a call. How do we not get attached to the comfort zones, get ourselves to discomforting a little bit, and how do we go further, right? So the obvious question is, now you all say, Anu, I understand all this, you're telling me this gyan, but where do I begin? How do I begin, right? So simple steps here. Put in a focused 90-day action plan for yourself. This is applicable to everyone. Large organization, I give them a 90-day plan. I talk to students, I give them a 90-day plan. In 90 days, this transformation, this magic happens. It happens in a way that you set an ambition, execute a problem that needs to be done, find solutions, design around it, experiment, and iterate. Sounds easy? Doable? Yes? No? Yes? So this is how we are doing it. Wherever people want to start, they actually feel that how and where do I begin? Culturally, in India, we've been always told as a child, "Bado ki suno," listen to the elders. Right? Yes or no? We are always told, do this, do that. And many times we don't question that. So today as professionals, as leaders, as change makers, one thing that you need to do is challenge the status quo. Ask why. What if we don't do this? Why should we do this? Where is this coming from? Right? What is the impact of not doing it? So if you ask these questions, what if and why not, that will be a starting point to your 90-day plan that I spoke about. Right? There's a detailed action plan which we can share with you post this session, and I'm happy to connect with you all if you have any questions, specifics around it. But if you ask yourself, how do you do this? Where do you do this? And to look at how this has been done in the world, right? There's a beautiful articulation of looking at things in and around us to see how this actually works. So, my friend, can you just click on and show us this video? I hope the sound is also audible.
Sound is not audible. Can't. Play that video. It's okay. Sound ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಚೆಕ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇದೆ
Okay, it's coming. It's all right.
ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೆ ಪ್ಲೇ ಇಟ್ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ
ಹಲೋ
ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ
ಹಲೋ ನೋಡಿ ಜೋಬಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಹಲೋ ಪಾಸ್
So did you all see some what if questions here? Yes?
ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಇವಾಗ.
So the biggest innovations, the biggest breakthroughs, the biggest disruptions that you see in the world today started with this simple what if question. So ask yourself a question. What if I would like to do ABC? What if the learnings that I have, I choose not to do for one organization, but to do the billions of organizations? And that's the reason we started forming a group, and then eventually we became an organization called Exceed Beyond. And today we are influencing millions of lives day in, day out. Right? So today we are in this scenario, you're listening to this. The question is,
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಫ್.
how does this impact you? If you have to think big, if you have to think innovatively, you need to ask yourself, like the video that you just seen, how do we get to that what if question for yourself?
16th slide.
So my friend, do you have any what if questions that comes to your mind? Any what if questions? Anybody wants to share their personal what if questions? The journey begins here. The journey begins with you as an individual. Right? If you do not have a question like this is a big reflection for you from becoming that next innovation leader, not just in your profession, but in your personal life too. That start putting these questions and look at these questions as if you look at the mirror every day. Put yourself into a situation where this becomes like a discomforting question, right? Because the next level of your growth, your team's growth, your organization's growth lies with this very question, which starts with one what if. Right? Akshay, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, in the context now, most of you are working here in software testing. How many of you are in software testing?
ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಈ ಥರ
Yes,
ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ.
yes. So how many of you are working in software testing? Few people. How many of you
Power
are
bank
in
ಐತೆನಾ?
software development?
ಪವರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್. Power bank.
Apart from these two domains, what are the other three domains you are working?
Haskell.
Design.
Product design, UI UX design. Okay, what else?
Marketing.
Marketing. Anybody here in support side? Okay. I'll just give you an example. When I was also working in software testing, we often used to ask questions like we have to do this entire quality test of the scenarios, and it is coming to the last part of the overall project. While the development team is working there, while the infrastructure team is setting up the environments, while maybe the product team is coming up with the product scenarios, so on and so forth. But as a software testing, when we were at the last stage of the project, somebody asked this question, why a testing team has to come at the last stage? What if software testing will not be there at the left side, not at the end of the journey? What if the testing process comes at the beginning, at the same time when the development is happening? Have you heard this? Agile versus the DevOps journey now? How many of you know Agile development DevOps journey? Than the traditional waterfall model, right? So there's a reason, and that started with this what if question. Organizations started facing this as a big challenge because the time which was taking to go into those step-by-step process, by the end of the project, when the quality team had to test those scenarios and deliver, it was resulting in more errors, more challenges, more resource and time wasted, as well as money for the time. That's where that was a strong what if question. Today, why Agile DevOps is popular? Because somebody had asked that what if question,
companies are looking for SDET engineers. That is only because somebody asked this question. Like this, what Anuj is trying to tell you is, in your day-to-day scenarios, your what-if questions are to be connected with your business scenarios, your own capabilities, your own abilities, or whatever the profession, be it product design, UI, UX, or if you want to also look at your personal side of it. It's not always related to the work. It is also with your own personal thing. What if I overcome the fear of public speaking? What if I go and maybe present a new idea to my management? What if I collaborate with a group of people to prototype a new concept? Can you see now the magic when you are asking this what if questions? So yeah, maybe let's give it a try. I have just given you a quick examples. In just 2 minutes, let's give it a try. Somebody would like to make an attempt? Can think of some what if question?
Yes, go ahead.
So since a long time, I just had a thought in my head that
Repeat from first. Repeat from first. Mike, you are
so it's always been a thought since data has been widely been uploaded in public. Right from the days of Instagram and Facebook, we have been uploading our images, we have been uploading our status, our job status, our relationship status, our financial status, everything. We have been involving public into our lifestyle so many close to our lives now. So I just want to think of a situation where I control my data which I post. So even though I am not using my 2015 created Facebook account, I still have to have the control of the data which is being shown to the Facebook users. If it is still there after more than 10 years, by now, that's what is it trying to portray and how is Meta using that data?
Yeah.
Because it's not regional end of the day. So I just think that what if we decentralize data? Obviously I agree to that extent that in a generation, centralizing was the key to every problem. But the population has grown to such an immense level, I think there is enough population to decentralize whatever we are having.
Absolutely.
So that is what is happening. We created Flipkart, now we have Zepto for the same reason.
Correct.
So that is what Kiranawala was doing. So he was basically doing the home delivery things earlier. The milk was getting delivered to our home. Now we are just modernized it with keywords and fancy words telling that okay, I am delivering it to your house then. So that was not new.
Right.
We are just being fooled. So why not being fooled in such a sensitive but a critical and very important thing to be worried about?
Absolutely. You have picked up a fabulous what if statement. It deserves a big round of applause. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share what if question? Something related to AI? What if AI does the job that I'm doing? If you have not thought about that, I think you should ask that question. Yes, please.
Alright, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will start off by telling my name is Joe Sylvester. I am an AI engineer in Wisconsin. So, my what if question seems highly what if itself. So, right now when I think about AI as a person, I think like, there's a lot of people who think, AI can't take over jobs. But from my perspective, the whole point of getting AI into existence is that our jobs are becoming easier with them. And what's the best way to make a person's job easier is by doing their job. So, like especially when I heard I'm so sorry, I just forgot his name. He's talking about software testing. So I have this concept, especially when our texters told me a lot about software testing. I had this concept where, you can play a role like say a developer developing a model from the scratch, or let's say a tester testing something. What if testing could do the development itself? Like, we have scripts, let's say automation scripts itself. They fix your code or tell you the issue in your code. What if that could fix? I just have an idea. This idea is how I want it to be. So what are the main things? We list, let's say on this idea, or let's say a product. This product has so many details that needs to be built. Rather than going through the development, we have the invention of the soft testing case, basically. And what if that builds your code, and that way we don't need a developer in between. The tester is the outcome completely. So that's one of my ideas. So
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for you too. So this is exactly how, my friends, you elevate the current situation to the next level. What if the testing that I'm doing, it could develop a code, get back into the system, deploy it so that we don't have to run the cycle again. You can elevate this further because testing team is the one who sees the entire business flow. What if it can automatically run this audit and get back into the mode that he was just speaking about, right? So, my friends, you've got to ask this what if questions, and if you have not asked, then after this session, you really should be sweating in your dress. Go back and ask this what if question, because if you don't, then there is certainly somebody else to ask that question. They solve that problem and they will be moving ahead and you will be at the receiving end, right? So that is the pace at which things are happening, and I'm going to quickly get back. I'm going to quickly look at how we did this, right? We have done this numerous number of times, and each time if you look at it, the organizations wherever we have been there, we've done this, the impact is like 200%. The impact is like 5x, 3x, right? That's whether it is about designing a product, whether it is about the UI UX piece of it, whether it's about testing, or it's about the production side. It's about employee experience, it could be about leadership experience, it could be about an individual's career. Applying these methodologies takes you into those X factors. Takes you, the minimum is 2x, the higher you go, the better it is, right? So, how does this happen? This is a quick glimpse of we running these sessions. Like I said, the transformation happens in 90 days. It is not a theory, because you can take the knowledge, but what's the use of the knowledge which you're not applying for it, right? So this knowledge that I'm talking about, the 90-day plan, this has been executed in large organizations, medium organizations, this has been executed to individuals. And every time this is worked, these are glimpses of how this happens through, right? How this works through the preparation side of it, which is the pre-work, then we get into the launch and execution side, and ultimately the impact comes through, right? So this is how we do it in large organizations in a period of 12 weeks, and if the video can be played, you will see people who feared coming and talking, people who always thought this is not my job, people who thought new solutions are to be done by the technology guys, the employees who thought I cannot be part of innovation, the employees who thought I only do the task which is given to me, there is nothing for me to do, employees who thought that some of the elements I could have done it, but I don't know where to begin, right? These are all those young aspiring minds who didn't know where to begin with, but having gone through a program like this, you will see the transformation. You will see how this 15-day-old employee worked with a 15-year-old leader in the organization and actually made a presentation to the global CEO, right? Let's take a look at this video. It has no audio in it, just the music, so don't worry, but look through the experience side as to how the transformation worked.
Bluetooth. That one. This one or this one, right? Can connect that one. That one Proton. This one can connect. Good. You can get a music there only. So I'll just connect now. Nothing will happen. Someone has to connect.
So this is the classic example of how some employees participated into this program that we run and how they actually got an opportunity to share the stage with the global CEOs and the CXOs, other CXOs in the organization. And not just that, now these employees are the ones who are enjoying extra bonuses, extra promotions, and new fundings and new projects, new assignments or dream assignments that they get to work in those organizations, right? Now, the obvious question is, how do I get started? For each one of you, the question is, how do I get started? My answers are very simple. First thing is, innovation as a methodology can be taught, can be learned. I would strongly recommend that you pick up the skills, pick up these books, start reading profusely. You will get the knowledge, you will get the horizons in which you can act apart from the role that you're doing, right? Second is, you could also attend, there are many design thinking sessions that happen across the world. There are many innovation workshops, hackathons and other things which are happening. Strongly attend those, right? There are various sessions that we at Exceed Beyond also execute. If you're interested, let Karthik know about it. We'll be more than happy to execute this for you also. And then above all, these boot camps where it is happening, it's a classic area where you can network with friends. This is a zone where you cannot do everything by yourself. You got to network with fellow professionals. Places where the design team meets the R&D team meets the operations team, that is where the real magic happens. So start forming your own networks. These are the things probably we have learned it quite late in the game, but for you as young leaders of tomorrow, follow these principles, get these new age skills into you, practice this day in, day out, and above all, that is the only way the future leaders work through. So on that note, I hope we are able to get off into this daily discipline of innovation. It's not one time. We got to practice this curiosity. We got to reframe time and again, experiment this very, very boldly without having the fear of failure, and above all, collaborate with 1, 2, 3, not just that, but with the whole forum within this and outside this room. And that is how things change, that is how the big innovations have come through. This is how we have moved the stories for many others, and I hope with this session, it helps you move forward in those 10x path with that what if question, with that thinking big, with that innovation mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real privilege talking to you all on this subject. Karthik and team, thank you very much for inviting us over. I'm happy to talk about any questions you have. Happy to take those questions right now, or even after the session I'm around. Happy to connect with you all individually. Thank you very much. Any questions? For others.
apart from what we are working on. So we are almost here to wrap it up. So it's an AI agent that we are building actually. So I guess we are on a plan to launch it very soon. We are planning on raising investors also. So recently we had a couple of interactions with some of Italian players. So they denied it. So I just want to ask you like to share any suggestions or anything that is running in my mind, since you guys are already into all of this. So we are on this way now. So I want to hear your inputs with regard to this. And let's say you want to raise a fund and you want to, convince your clients so that this is my product and it can definitely solve your problems and you can make the best use of it so that you don't need to hire a lot of people if you buy this product.
Yeah.
So we tried actually, but yeah, it's like one time we have a couple of our clients who soon will be interacting with us. So if you would help us, I mean, if you could share whatever that is in your mind, so that would be great for the
Sure.
I'll answer some part of it and then let Anup speak on the investment. So firstly on the AI engine, the product what you built now, it is in what stage? Prototype or it's in a real product? For customer demonstration? Is there already interaction? Have you done any validation? Have you seen where this need is coming from? Those analysis you have already.
ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ
Also have some of the users already doing some feedback. So there are ways in terms of first is problem to solution fit, right? So that fitment is something which we should first identify what the core areas this AI agent is going to solve. Is there a business which is going to pay for it? And
So there are three main areas when any new product or service get launched. Three lenses to be looked at. Most of the time we confuse or rather focus that only having a great technology is the first thing. While that could be true, nobody denies that today technology cannot play a major role. But in the journey, what we have been driving, three lenses what we ask individuals to see. First is your user desirability, that whether users are really looking for it and which kind of users are really asking for this problem to be solved. That is your desirability lens. Second is from the business point of view, how much viable it is, who is going to pay for it, and how this is going to fly. So that is your second lens. Third is the technological feasibility. If you are combining these three things together, that is your sweet spot. So today when you are trying to pitch for investors or maybe also trying to attract for the new users, if you are not able to explain this sweet spot, where this AI agent is going to really fly, then there is no, interest being developed by the investor. So you need to in a position to first build that sweet spot identification. And there are ways, there are techniques in which our workshops we generally take and work with the founders. So that's a small piece of it. Now I'll let Anup to speak about more from an investment and funding point.
So that's a very interesting question that you asked, and the fact that you have a solution and you started pitching it to the investors. How many pitches have you done so far? 2? You should go for 20. Aim for 20, because the reason is with each pitch, what you're getting is not a no for an answer. What you're getting is the mindset with which the investor is looking at your product. And in those responses, you get to understand what Akshay just spoke about, right? From a people desirability point of view, business viability point of view, and technology feasibility point of view, right? So that is the sweet spot, one aspect. Second is, you as an individual, you built it with a particular vision in mind, and there is a customer out there, and then you're looking at the investment side of it. So you need to balance this out. You created a solution, now you need to get a customer, the early bird customers into this. Once you have that, you can talk to your investors saying that I already have this many customers, extrapolate this, it's going to be this big in terms of returns. You will see the investors chasing you. But if that doesn't happen, you can connect with those investors with the initial round who are in and around your network, who can believe into you, your capabilities, your potential, and get it going. And it's not a one-time exercise, like I said. It's an iterative process. So you've done this with 2, we got to do with 20 more, right? And in those process, it may happen in the 3rd one, the 4th one, it could even be the 10th one. But the answer lies in each session. There is a learning, you've got to apply that learning into your pitch, into your product, into your offering, and then go back and hit it. That is where the real answer lies. Yeah? Anybody else, any questions? If not, thank you very much, folks. If you want to meet me, you can meet me individually later on also. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anup sir and Akshay sir. That was an eye-opener. Innovation truly begins with mindset. We are truly grateful to Mr. Anup sir and Mr. Akshay sir for joining us today all the way from Pune just to share their valuable insights and experience with us. Your words have truly inspired everyone here. Thank you both for taking the time and making this session so special. We really appreciate your effort and presence. Mr. Nagbhushan sir is living now, so thank you sir for being a part of nConnect. A heartfelt thanks to you sir from NammaQA for adding more sparkle to this event. Once again, thank you sir.
So as Akshay told, right, we started Pune expertise, right? So he's the one, Nagbhushan is the one who motivated me. I will not go alone, please come with me, right? So actually the Pune expertise was started by me and his name is Amit actually, right? Official name is Nagbhushan, right? So me and Amit. So we were traveling around 12 to 13 kilometers for training purpose. For morning we used to go, and again night we used to come back together. So he's the one, right, with me who built that Pune Express branch. Okay. So at that time Akshay had not enrolled yet. so right. So I think he has not seen him, right. So right, due to some medical emergency, personal emergency, he came back to Bangalore, right? So so he is also one of the person who built in training, and he is the person who has trained more than 15,000 students on QTP, right? QTP and QRP, right? So minimum 200 plus students were sitting in his class, right? So and for all his class, I am the ambassador, right? So right, so there is one of the 18 introduced about that, right? So just wanted to add on to his introduction, right? So as he is having some personal work as well, so he's also leaving us today for the time. So he will be there for the lunch for a few minutes, right? Any questions regarding to Amit sir, right? So you can ask him about the data cloud and data analytics things. You can ask them, right? So and any questions? So you will be having Anup, you will be having Akshay, you will be having Raju sir, and you will be having Srisha. Everyone will be there in the networking. So now we will go for a networking break, right? So there is a lunch arranged. So have a lunch, don't run away. There are a lot of insights you will be getting, like right. So now we started with AI, went to innovation, then what is that you required in the industry. So Raju sir will be explaining that, and after all these things, how to save your money, right? How to do a wealth management. That is what Srisha will be teaching you or training you on, the financial abundance of how you can gain money, right? That is the last session we are getting, because why we are not giving the earlier events? If money comes, nothing comes, right? That's why we are giving the last, right? So let's right, wait, we will go for a break. So just I hand over to Meghana for
official announcement.
So now it's time for our lunch break. Lunch has been arranged in the first floor. I kindly request all our guests and participants to proceed and enjoy your meal. We'll be resuming the next sessions right after the break. Thank you and have a pleasant lunch with your networking.
Hey man, you have to keep that this side. Where you are keeping?
Have you told
Bad.
regarding
Where you will keep the bad? School you didn't get the bad.
have you told her regarding right after lunch?
They'll stop the streaming.
I'll stop it.
ಏನು ಬೆಲೆ ಸರ್ ಬೆಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ
I will stop the stream.
ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ